Hey, it's your girl Monique 69 Ways Johnson. I'm back with another recap of the clip, the miniseries on Hulu, episode 3. I know I'm late, but here I am trying to catch up. So, let's get into it. Episode 3. Um, the beginning of the episode is like where their V, I think, dropped the video recording or the recording because it's not actually a video per se, but it's a recording of Mr. Sterling saying some fucked up things about, you know, black people, people of color, what have you, to V. I think it was dropped through TMZ, if I'm not mistaken. I think TMZ released it, recording. So, um, I did not take much notes, so I'm trying to go off memory. Um, so the recording dropped. Everybody, it's a lot of buzz going on social media and stuff like that. Um, we see some of the players walking, mind their business. They at the hotel, um, mind their business, and this is during the playoffs against the Warriors. So they in the hotel, some of the players in the hotel mind their business. Some fans come up to them, people snapping pictures with them and asking them about the coach or what have you, and some of them didn't hear it right away of the recording. Some have, and some see it through the feed and stuff like that. And yeah, they getting approached by fans and question and ask about they messed up owner. And the players don't know what to say, and because it's all new to them at that moment. But what's his name? Coach Doc had the recording for a good minute. He thought it was a porn video, but it wasn't. So it was just a recording of Mr. Sterling saying some foul stuff. So he finally got a chance to listen to it because it's like a ish storm happening at the moment in real time. And yeah, so we see Doc in his suite, hotel suite. Um, well, before he gets to his hotel suite, he hear I guess he got like a room near Mr. Sterling, Mrs. Sterling suite, what have you, and you can hear Mr. Sterling not giving a fuck about what's happening, and his wife, Mrs. Sterling, Shelly, is like very concerned, and Mr. Sterling is just don't give a fuck because he know he got his privilege, okay, to protect him, and he think because he's the owner of a basketball team that he can do whatever. So yeah, so Doc heard that before he went to his suite, and we see um I think his name is Seth, come to Doc's suite and tell him what's going on, play by play. Um, and they trying to figure out their next move as a team, as a corporation, actually. And Doc want to know what the fuck Andy at. Andy, you know, he's the guy. Um, underneath Sterling, I guess. And they want to know he want to know where he at, so he got someone to blame, and cuss out, and rightfully so. Um, so they in Doc Suite. So, but everybody, I guess everybody in the corporation except for Andy is in Doc Suite, so they can figure out their next move. They're talking about how TNZ Kank are coming in, booking rooms at the hotel, some trying to get the tea, and Doc said there's gonna be no press, so trying to avoid press at all time. And he just said like, Mr. Sterling need to come up with a statement, like come forward like apology with an apology to the public, and so they can play the game and move on. and stuff like that. So, but easy said and done. That's what I say. And what else happened? So Andy's on the plane on his way to them because he was not there with them when it dropped. Um, then Doc, I believe, talked to some of the players. You know, all the players are like they was not feeling that recording of Mr. Sterling. They already was not feeling him after like the last episode, um, where he was like showing them off to his friends or whatever, like they on display, like they at a petting zoo or something. And it was really weird. So they already felt the way about his um racist undertones and the way he be moving with them. Um, and now is really they got proof and they can hear it, his voice saying these things, and it's really messing them up because they on this team they're like, should we play or should we not? You know, because if they do play, people will be like, these black men playing for this white racist who think that they are his slaves. Their think they team is his slave. And it's like up in the air. And Doc going around to these, especially Andre, like he's taking it the hardest, in my opinion, for what they showed. Um, yeah, he's taking the hardest. So he went to his room, talked to him, see his grievances on it, the situation, how he felt about it and stuff. And he heard him out, and I was just like, people gonna people gonna say like, why we playing for this racist and stuff like that. Excuse me. And then we get a moment, and then Doc understood what he was feeling. He said he hear him. So, but the team, he still wants the team to make the decision to still play in this playoff against the Warriors. So they need to make a team uh decision collectively as a team. Um, we get a scene. He ran into Shelly, Mrs. Sterling on the elevator. Doc, Coach Doc. He made a he bumped into Shelly on the elevator, and you know the way Shelly moving, she moving like, I mean, they both was cordial, and Shelly moving like what her husband did is not happening. Um, she act like he's not a racist or he didn't say these things. She know he said these things, but she's moving like it's not happening in real time. She up there making small talk, talking about he should go get breakfast and what he should eat for what he should get for breakfast and what's good at the hotel, what have you. Just making small talk, and she told him that Andy is down there. You might want to go down there because Andy is down there eating breakfast. Because Doc been waiting for Andy because he was MIA when all this stuff is coming out. So Andy is at the hotel. You know, Doc had to go and getting his ass like, what's the next step? What we doing? Because he up there eating breakfast and like ain't nothing really happening in real time with this recording being released and negative press coming against the team. And what else happened? He just told him to get his ass up and you know go make Mr. Sterling give a statement and apologize about this recording. And then V, we see a scene with V getting ready at her house at the duplex with her friend Deja and the lawyer. I think the NBA lawyers are coming through. to investigate and give us, I guess, give a statement, because they investigating V. They questioning V and they question Mrs. Sterling about this whole situation of this recording and stuff like that. See. And the paparazzi is at her duplex as well. And she sent the boys off to her sister Lucy. So it was really getting ridiculous that the paparazzi is at her duplex. And she getting all this attention. And we see let's see. We see Mrs. Sterling's friend. I'm trying to remember. I don't know her name, but her friend came by to support her, and she heard the recording, heard the news, and heard what Mr. Sterling had did, and she wanted to be there for her friend. And and it's Mr. Sterling's birthday. Shelly is worried about Mr. Sterling's birthday. The way she was moving is like she was in the Twilight Zone or something. It was like the ish ain't happening, and like it's like this can't be my husband. This is not true or whatever. I'm like, it's damn well is your husband. I'm pretty sure you heard him say some fucked up things, but I'm not surprised because you yourself have some racist undertones the way you was talking to with your friends in episode 1 about V. So I'm not surprised that it went over your fucking head. Because I'm pretty sure you have some of the same feelings on certain things. So we see an interview with the lawyers, NBA lawyers, or with the league lawyers, I should say, questioning V and questioning Mrs. Sterling. So it's like the scene is going back and forth. And V eventually said she got more recordings of Mr. Sterling, and then Mrs. Sterling saying that V is a alcoholic, or I mean a drug addict. So said she used drugs. So it was like both, they just trying to defend themselves and mirrored the other person a little bit at the same time. So that's that. And what else happened? So Doc and the team, they met at this banquet room for a little bit, for like a meeting, so they can know what to do and how would they move as a team. Is they plan or is they not? And then Chris let the team know that uh Steph Curry said they will be down to help them protest against against the corporation if need be. So they got the Warriors support in that, and I thought that was pretty dope. And the everybody went around and gave their opinion on how they feeling and how they should move. Andre don't want to play. He thinks it should be a big protest. Chris, he angry, but he still want to play because he's like, we work so hard, we come so far out. He said, I want my damn ring. Understand on that as well. And we got JJ. They call him White. Like he like this ain't got nothing to do with you. This don't affect you. But he's like it does affect me because he's like I don't want to be a part of some racist stuff. I mean, even though he's white, he still can be affected. I mean, he's on this team, and especially if he's not down with that racist shit. So it can affect him as well, but in a different way. But it's more affecting to the black boys and black and brown boys that's on the team more. So, and then Andre was trying to leave, and Doc said, tell everybody like calm down because tension was getting high in that room or what have you of the discussion on how they should move. He told him to calm down. Then he talked about Jesse Owen them doing the Olympics and stuff like that. How they still perform and still did a little protest at the same time with the fist and all that good stuff. And it was like it was real a real it was like a real talk and discussion topics was happening in that moment. And I could see everyone's feelings on the situation, on how they should move and stuff like that. So, they came to a decision to play, but they had their own little um, protest at the same time because when they went on to the court, um, they didn't have the Clippers logo as they was warming up. So they had on solid colors. I think they had like the shirts inside out. So it was like a little protest. And then, they show their uniform when it's time to play, I guess. Um so before the game, we see Mr. Sterling Mr. Sterling at his birthday dinner. It was weird. Um he got his temper went off on Shelly, on Mrs. Sterling, because she said some slick shit about what's happening. And he said enough. I guess he got tired because she was hitting some buttons about what's happening and the way he's acting about what's happening like it's not happening. and she was like, low key irritated and tired of him in the same sense. And her friend comforted her, so that she'll have her back or whatever, in whatever which way she moves. Um, V is getting this attention from the media. Whether it's paparazzi, social media, she getting all this attention. Whether it's good or bad, she's getting this attention and she's taking full advantage of it. And she hired a PR, some security bodyguards or what have you, and she just been putting on the show in her front yard for the paparazzi. She would go out and skate or what have you to make a scene because she liked to be followed by the paparazzi. She liked this attention. It basically created a monster. And then her friend Deja was like looking at her like, "Are you okay? Are you crazy?" And she's like, "Why you?" Because she basically V is moving weird. Like she think this is a good positive attention. It's not, especially after hearing Deja hearing what Mr. Sterling said, how he actually feels about black and brown people. Um and Deja V told Deja that she's jealous of her newfound fame because she's not the famous one anymore. I guess Deja was famous at one point. I don't know. Um, and Deja asked V why won't she come out and flat out say that Donna is a racist. V talking about her social media and stuff like that. And Deja says, as a black woman, you should be hurt hearing those things because V is acting like she's not hurt about what Mr. Sterling said and what have you. But granted, V is a mixed woman, Mexican and black. Um, they just said if you going to put out a tape, let's talk about the Klansmen in the room. I was like, ooh, ooh. And then V says she didn't release the tape. And I'm like, did you sent it? You did when you sent it to Andy, and it got into Mrs. Sterling hands and stuff like that. It got in multiple people's hands, so anybody could release the tape. So you technically did. So once it was discovered, it was already released, whether it was released to the public or not. So, but this time it just got released to the public. Um, and Deja clocked V because V did release the tape. Her racist boyfriend wouldn't take her back. Because his racist BS isn't a deal breaker for her. That's what Deja called out on V. And V just sitting there looking stupid. I'm like, that's the way she's moving and acting like this is not a deal breaker. That him saying these racist things about black people, black and brown people, which she's represent. So it got her looking stupid and I guess thinking and realizing what it is. Let me see a scene with Doc on the bus, on the team bus, and I think Self came in and gave him the phone, so he got a phone call, and then Doc got on the phone, and then it said a call from President Obama, but they didn't show the phone conversation at all. Then we get a scene of Mr. Sterling trying to come to the game. Yeah, Doc yelling on the phone at Andy, telling Andy turn the car around, don't come to the game, don't let him come to the game. Mrs. Sterling took a separate car from Mr. Sterling to come to the game, but yeah, Doc was like, "Do not come to this freaking game because it's gonna make things worse." And but to make the only thing that made things worse, he did not choose the statement to apologize. He chose the statement to deny that his voice on the damn recording. That's what I forgot to mention. I'm like, what? It's clear as day. Your voice is on that damn recording. So yeah, he's trying to come to the game. He said, "Don't come to the game." The team protests. You know, they didn't want to show the Clipper logo as they was warming up, so they turned the shirts inside out. Um, then we see Mrs. Sterling in the crowd of people. So some people don't know who Mrs. Sterling is. Some people do. So we see her talking to. She's sitting in the crowd like a regular citizen. She's talking to a little girl, and she said she see the girl jersey on. She said she can introduce the little girl to Blake Griffin. Um, to Blake Griffin and the other uh audience member clocked Mrs. Sterling, said, "No shit, this is Mrs. Sterling. She's married to the racist. This is the racist Mrs. Sterling." So she got busted and she looked embarrassed. And then we get a scene of after the game. Of course, they lost. After the game, we see the players was out in the outside the bus because they were Doc like, "Why y'all not on the bus?" And he see that Mrs. Sterling is in the front seat on the bus, so I guess she wanted a ride. It seemed like she's trying to distance herself from her husband and from the situation. But girl, you married to him, so you in it. Rather it was your voice or not on the recording, you in it. So unfortunately for you. And she's on the bus and what have you. Then we see a scene with V at the end of the episode. She is like going through her recording files, and I guess deleting or listening is unclear, but I know she's moving from one folder to another of these recordings, and you can hear some of the stuff. And I guess like as she's listening to these things, it's like hitting a nerve. And Mr. Sterling did bring up like her wearing this light makeup. He said, "What you trying to do? Make yourself look white?" I was like, "Ooh, clock it. Let's clock some things." And yeah, she's like really sitting in this, listening to it. And she had to realize like that shit wasn't cool what he said. And it seemed like she has some identity crisis somewhat if she's wearing lighter makeup to make herself look white. So yeah, so she has some identity issues herself, I guess. So yeah, so that was the end of the episode 3. So I'm playing catch up, y'all. So let me know your thoughts. If you saw this episode, let me know your thoughts on episode 3. And make sure you like, share, subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.
On track, now we gon' way up. Don't be used as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up.